What's up, everybody? What's going on? I hear sort of things in the news. I'm not gonna do politics on this channel, but there was a presidential election here in America, and usually when that happens, it's an all-encompassing thing. I just want to know, you MAGA people, will you hold your man accountable? I'm posing this question to you. MAGA people do not hold Donald Trump accountable for anything. They either excuse it as a joke or as hyperbole, almost like your racist uncle would say something insane at Thanksgiving and you would say, "Oh, but we love Uncle Johnny. Uncle Johnny rules." Yeah, but he just dropped the N-bomb. He's just drunk, it's fine. That's how we treat our soon-to-be POTUS. It's insane. What's up, everybody? What's going on? I hear sort of things in the news. So, we're going to talk about a bunch of stuff today, and I want to thank you all. I want to thank you for being here, first and foremost. It's always fun to be here on a Wednesday. I wasn't here last Wednesday because Halloween, honestly. It's a week-long endeavor in my house. So we had some preparation to do, and come Wednesday at this time, I was knee-deep in Halloween. So I hope everybody had a good Halloween. I hope everybody had a safe Halloween. I hope all the kiddies went out and had good fun and good trick-or-treating and good costumes and the whole thing. But we are a week removed from the Halloween season, and we're into November now, which has gone full Christmas for most people. People have gone full Christmas. My cousin has been texting about Christmas, not texting, but posting on Facebook and all the social medias about Christmas for about a month and a half now. I want to say since like at least early September, it's been like, yeah, Halloween's good and all, but can't wait for Christmas, like that kind of thing. So there's that. But what's most notable about right now is the holiday that took place yesterday, and it should be a holiday first and foremost. My first political stance. So before I even launch into this, I just want to say that I'm not going to do politics on this channel. It's not going to be a thing. Honestly, the only reason why I'm even bringing this up is because there was a music article from Loudwire regarding how many artists are responding to the election and the presidential election here in America. I don't know where any of you are watching from, but there was a presidential election here in America, and usually when that happens, it's an all-encompassing thing. Everybody, even if you're just like a little bit into politics, usually you'll jump right in feet first on election night. That's why I think it should be a holiday. It's just like the Super Bowl. It's the same thing. If you don't pay attention to football, you're still watching the Super Bowl, right? Either it be for the commercials or for the performance of the halftime show, or just to see what everybody's going to be talking about the next day, because the majority of Americans, and the world for that matter, probably watches the Super Bowl. I can only speak for America, though. Okay, so election night's kind of the same thing. Not nearly as big as the Super Bowl, obviously. People are not glued to their local newscast waiting for the election results, especially nowadays, when more than likely you're not getting the election results until in the middle of the night, right? But when you're someone like me, believe it or not, I do sports and entertainment. Sports and music are like my two main passions in life. But I would say over the last 10 to 15 years, I've really become quite passionate about politics. But I do it more as a exercise in debate more than anything else. I mean, I do have my beliefs, and I do have the things that I vote for and that I find very important. But I don't always have to talk about those things. But lately, it seems since around 2015 or 2016, I don't know what happened then. A certain somebody hit the scene, and I don't know, hatefulness and divisiveness have become the order of the day, and people just don't talk about things anymore. It becomes a shouting match. So me being a former shouter myself, someone who used to just fly off the handle, I find it to be cathartic and uh, I don't know, entertaining, but also it's an exercise for my brain to argue with people in a passionate yet controlled and not hateful way. So, and oftentimes this approach ends in hatefulness because when you ask people a question and you don't get off that question because you find with a certain group that they don't want to just answer the questions directly, and then they want to project that you're the one not answering the question or asking the question, or I answered your question. You never answered my question. So, and that's what I get at. So that's the fun part for me. That's why I engage in the political stuff as much as I do online. If you're friends with me on social media or you follow me on social media at all, that's where I kind of relegated my political stuff to. However, this being less than, I don't know, what they declared Trump the winner less than 12 hours ago, maybe a little over 12 hours ago. So this is 12 years old, 12 hours old, barely. And I'm here on the air and I'm very, very passionate and involved in the political thing. So I feel the need to address it. So let's talk about it. If you're in this room, if you're watching this stream or you're watching this broadcast and you're a MAGA person or a Trump supporter or a conservative but not a MAGA supporter, whatever, I'm here to tell you right off the bat, I'm not here to debate about Kamala Harris versus Donald Trump. The debate is over. The fight is over. There's no need to debate. I don't agree with Donald Trump. I will never agree with Donald Trump. I would never vote for Donald Trump unless literal Hitler came back to life and was running against him. And then even then, I might just sit that one out. I just, not saying that he's Hitler. I want to be very clear about that for those of you who might want to hop in the chat and be like, he's not Hitler. He's not Hitler, okay? He used Hitler tactics. He used definitely 1931 beer hall push type like things and his rhetoric and the whole nine, okay? All I want to do here by bringing this up is discuss what's next. Okay, where do we go from here? I'm flabbergasted. I'm not necessarily. I was kind of prepared for the possibility of a Donald Trump victory via the Electoral College, because that entire system has been gerrymandered to shit. And it's been manipulated to the point where, you know, Joe Biden not only had to win by 7 million, but he had to actually win by 7 million votes, and like 11,000 or whatever was in Georgia and 40,000 that was in Arizona or wherever it was, right? So it's not even, so like the rest of the country, it just doesn't matter. And that's kind of how it felt going into this. So that's why the Electoral College low-key sucks. But even more shocking is Donald Trump won the popular vote by, I think, over 5 million. I haven't checked in several hours because it's a fruitless effort to even look at it anymore and just hope for it to change. It's not going to change. So where I'm at here is I just have a message. I have a message for my political future going forward and for what this is about for me. For me, I just want to know that those of you who voted, you MAGA people, those of you who voted for Trump out there, will you hold your man accountable? Will you hold your party, the MAGA party? I'm not going to call it Republicans anymore because this is not your father's Republican Party. This is not what Republicans look like. I know that the whole MAGA thing and everyone who supports Trump want to point at Kamala Harris and point at Joe Biden and point at Tim Walz and point at these people and be like, they're the most progressive, extreme left, communist. Listen, I hate to break this to you. It's the most center platform I think I've ever seen. And as someone who's a leftist, I am more left than Kamala Harris. When you all call him or call her a leftist extremist, an extreme leftist communist, It's just laughable, and it's a calling card that you don't know what you're talking about. Now, what I will say is, so not even moving off of this, MAGA is MAGA, Republicans are Republicans. Maybe this is where the Republican Party will move completely. I know there was more than enough Republicans that came over to the Democratic side during this cycle to lead me to believe that there may be a third party forming somewhere. Either it be like a Republican light or a MAGA light, or just we'll call them Republicans and we'll call the Trump party MAGA. Or maybe he'll become so egotistical that he won't even call himself the Republicans anymore. They will call themselves MAGA. And I hope that's what happens. Because I think one way or the other, we need to get a third, fourth, or fifth party up in this bitch. I think the two-party system is broken beyond recognition. However, what I want to get at here is, will you hold your boy accountable? So this came out of conversations that I've had online all day. I posted on my Facebook today. I really hope that Donald Trump's rhetoric and his campaign rallies and the things that he did there, I really hope that it's all hyperbolic like we've been told. Because let's be fair, the media sane-washed the shit out of Trump and everything he said. He has said horrendous things about women, about people of color, about other countries, about other places, about his own country. I mean, he referred to us as a garbage can, okay? So maybe it was a comedy bit. Maybe it was just a show he was putting on. Maybe it was just, I'm at my rallies and I have these thousands of people and I need to fill time. I understand that. As a performer, as someone who is a performer and has been a professional performer before in my life, I get the idea of filling the space and creating content. It's what I'm doing right here, right? So I get it. I totally get it. So now my question to you is, okay, the rallies are over. And by rights and by laws, there really is very little reason to see Trump do a rally again unless he's supporting whoever the next candidate will be in 2 or 4 years. Like midterm elections, I can see him going out and maybe supporting some midterm candidates that he needs to support, right? That makes sense. He throws his support behind candidates that he wants that are going to support his systems. I get that. Or in 4 years, if Jay Dizzle is going to be the successor to Trump in 4 years, then he has to go and campaign for him, right? Because that's what normally a sitting president would do for their candidate, right? So, or for the next person. So the days of the Trump rally happening all the time should be over, okay? Now, it would be very dictator of him to continue to do the rallies, right? I mean, that's something Hitler and Mussolini and all of them did, right? But I'm not even getting on that because I don't care. I don't care if he goes out and does 2-hour stand-up every single night. And if he's going to say horrendous shit over and over again and continue to do that, whatever. It is what it is at this point. But my question to you is, these are the two main things. As a father of daughters who are now adults and who have smaller children in my family, one of which who is a woman or is a girl, I'm concerned about women's rights, specifically abortion rights, and I'm concerned about Project 2025 because Project 25 is horrific shit. It's horrific. I've read a lot of it. I haven't read all 900 pages, but I've read enough to know that it's horrific. And Trump was out on the campaign trail this entire time speaking about many, many things and saying lots and lots of horrific things. But I don't really care about those things so much because it's too late now. It doesn't matter. Apparently shitty comments about all other people that aren't white men doesn't matter to the MAGA core. It doesn't matter to the voter, to the electorate. It doesn't matter. Because ultimately, he won the popular vote. And they won the Senate. And they're still in play for the House. And he has the courts. So by rights, this is what the public wants, right? I have no choice but to believe that this is what the public wants. So this is what I'm asking of the public, those of you who voted for Trump. Will you hold him accountable if he goes against his words? Now, you all want to pretend all of a sudden online that he's a man of his word. So if he's a man of his word, because let's not bullshit each other. There's a lot of revisionist history going on here. A lot. I've seen a lot of it. Oh, his presidency was so great the first time around. We completely forgot about how he biffed up COVID. Okay, but COVID was going to happen, right? So maybe he didn't biff it up. I don't know. I'm not God. I don't believe there is one, but if there is one, it's definitely not me. So I don't know. I don't know if he messed it up or if we were going to lose those extra 400,000 or 500,000 people anyway. I don't know. I'm not here to be the arbiter of that. Apparently, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about because I voted for Kamala Harris, right? So apparently, I'm on the wrong side of this. Now, I believe that I'm on the right side of this from a humanity standpoint, from a community standpoint, from a societal standpoint. I believe that what I believe in is the better way. Just like you, MAGA voter, or just like you, independent voter, if you voted for Jill Stein or whatever, okay? So I'm not even here to debate that. What I'm asking is, if he goes against his words, which were, he's not for a national abortion ban, and he wants to keep it in the States, and he knows nothing about nor wants anything to do with Project 2025 because that stuff's crazy. Those are his words. If he goes against those, will you hold him accountable? Will you, MAGA, stand up and be like, no, that's not what I voted for. I voted for abortion being back in the States. I voted for strong states' rights, not a Project 2025 that's going to be a strong executive suite and a strong executive branch and full executive power. I actually had one MAGA person who was very reasonable, who said on my page, I'm against that, and I'm a strong Christian. That is anti-Christian. Awesome. Awesome. It's the only good answer I've heard all day. Because I had people either running from the question by going, well, he said he's not going to do that, so he's not going to do that. As if Donald Trump has been a man of his word this whole time. So fine, I will hold you with that. This is giving him a shot redo, okay? Because I'm pissed as hell. I'm not going to pretend that I'm not devastated and disgusted by what has happened in this country. I am fully grossed out by the fact that he won the popular vote. I mean, again, I don't want to start a debate here, so I'm not going to go into why I'm disgusted and why I find this to be abhorrent. So I'm just going to leave the question to you. And please leave it in the comments or in the chat, because I'm sure I'll make a VOD of this too. Leave it in the comments. Tell me what you think. Will you hold Donald Trump accountable? Because I know for sure, look, I'm a Democrat. Well, I'm not a Democrat. I'm sorry. I'm a leftist. But I vote Democrat because it's the only choice I have in this country. I don't have a progressive option. Jill Stein was posed as the progressive option. Are you fucking kidding me? She's a grifter at best. So we don't have a progressive option in this country. We have whatever's ingrained in the Democratic Party. So I would have voted for Kamala Harris, and I did, because I saw a way forward towards what I would hope to see in this country through Kamala Harris. I see none of that with Donald Trump, and that's just an ideological thing, okay? I'm not going to get into what I'm really terrified about and what really scares me about Donald Trump. I'm not even going to get into that. That might be a different discussion for a different day, and I don't do politics on my channel. So if anybody out there has a political channel, by all means, invite me on. I'd love to have a discussion with you. I'll talk about it. I'm not against it. I'm not afraid. If you've watched any of my videos ever, you can definitely see evidence of what my beliefs are. So I'm not trying to be coy and be like, oh, am I right? Am I left? No, I'm a leftist. I'm fully left. Amen. Okay? Bernie Sanders. Bernie bro. Boom. Fully left. Probably even further than him, because I don't even want to get into the Gaza stuff. But so my question stands, and I'll end this here until I go into the music portion of this, because there is a music portion of this that I just want to read an article from Loudwire and go through it. But my question stands. Will you hold Donald Trump accountable? Will you stand up? Because I know as Democrats, I know lots of Democrats, and I know as a leftist, if Joe Biden or Barack Obama or Hillary Clinton had stormed the gates of the Capitol building on January 6th, I wouldn't vote for them. I would find it to be grotesque and un-American. If I heard Joe Biden call an entire island of people garbage that they're Americans, like they're not full citizens, which is bullshit. They should be. But Puerto Ricans are more or less Americans. So he called a whole island of Americans garbage. Or he allowed it. I'm sorry. He allowed it. He accused Haitians of eating cats and dogs. So I would hold my elected officials, the people that I picked to lead this country, accountable. And I would either not vote for them again, or I would speak out against them constantly. So I'm posing this question to you. I'm lobbing it back to you. Thus far, MAGA people have not been very good at this. MAGA people do not hold Donald Trump accountable for anything. They either excuse it as a joke or as hyperbole, almost like your racist uncle would say something insane at Thanksgiving and you would say, "Oh, but we love Uncle Johnny. Uncle Johnny rules." Yeah, but he just dropped the N-bomb. He's just drunk. It's fine. That's how we treat our soon-to-be POTUS. It's insane. So now I want to put it on you. And look, if you all are going to hold him to that standard, then I'll be quiet this whole term. I'll be quiet the whole term because you know what? I've lived through regular Republicans before. I lived through George W. Bush. Hell, I used to be a conservative. I voted for George W. Bush once. So I've been through this before. And we survived George W. Bush, albeit barely it seems, because 9/11 happened on his watch. But we did survive it. And we did get into a massive war that lasted 20 years. But we made it through, right? Like we got through. So my new tag, and I know it's a very low bar, people. I know it's a very low bar. But my bar right now is, let's just get through, okay? Let's just get through. Who knows? Who knows? Look, Donald Trump was a Democrat a lot of his life until he decided to run for president. And then he became this Republican conservative. And he jumped in with both fucking feet. Like, he didn't even think twice about it. So, who knows? Maybe he takes a shift back at some point and goes, oh, you know what? The environment does kind of suck, and I do have a teenage son, so maybe I should do something about that. Or, you know, or maybe he just, I mean, if he doesn't do it, first off, I think Roe v. Wade needs to be put back on the books. I think you need to codify Roe v. Wade. I just think just for the rights of women. I don't even care about babies. It could be, that's like a religious thing. I don't even get into that. I'm not a scientist. I can't even debate that. So I wouldn't even talk about it, which is the point. I wouldn't even talk about it. I just think women should have rights. I think women should have all the same rights I do. And right now, they simply don't. Unless you're in a state like I'm in. Like I'm in Pennsylvania, so I'm lucky. Right? I'm lucky I'm in Pennsylvania. We have a progressive governor. So I guess I'm lucky for now. But if a national abortion ban comes through, my daughters are equally screwed, and my wife, and my friends who are female, and the whole nine. They're all screwed just like a woman in Mississippi or Texas, right? So, and let's not sugarcoat it. It sucks anyway. It sucks that you need to live in a certain state to have full rights. Like, what the hell is that? Like, what the hell is that? We're partially the land of the free? Like, what is that? I don't even understand. So, moving on from this. Hold your dude accountable. Okay? Now, do I want to be friends with people who voted for this man? I don't. I have no interest in it. I would love to have you as a viewer on my channel, but honestly, how do you justify? I guess my son put it best. He doesn't want to be friends with any of these people. So I don't know if that means we hate them. I don't hate anybody. But my goodness, like you just, I don't know. I feel like a whole sect of this country has been ignored, and women voted for him. So, what do I know, right? What do I know? Anyway, drop it in the comment, drop it in the chat. I don't know. If you want to chat about it, I'm open. So, going on to here, hold on a second here. Let's switch angles here for a second. Let's look at a thing here. So, on Loudwire, apparently a lot of rock and metal artists came out in reaction to the I'm going to go back to the other camera. I like that better. In reaction to the election. So, let's see, what do we got here? Ted Nugent posted a flower bouquet over a 2024 Trump campaign sign with the caption, "Glory, glory, hallelujah, thank God." All right, Teddy Ballgame. All That Remains vocalist Phil Labonte posted, "Donald Trump is the 47th president of the United States," in all caps. He was excited. And then he sent a meme Joe Biden tweet to Kamala Harris and responded to several people bemoaning the election results with 2-second video of him screaming joyously into the camera. So he's happy. Kid Rock was one of Trump's most vocal supporters, had to share some last-minute video support for Trump before Election Day, but had yet to comment at press time. Okay, so he hasn't commented yet, but here's Teddy Ballgame's post. Oh, there's the meme. Is this him looking back? Is this the Joe meme of him looking back? Yeah, that's a classic. That's a classic. That's a classic. Phil Labonte. Is it Labonte? Labonte? I don't even know. D. Snyder had several posts. This was before today's the day. Trump doesn't even have close to the majority. If he wins, it means people lost sight of the big picture and either didn't vote or protest voted. That's still a vote for Trump. If that's what the American people want, so be it. I will accept it, but I pray it isn't. And honestly, in analysis, I think that's what happened. I think two things happened. I'll get to that in a second. Hold on. Well, I was very wrong. The American people have spoken. I accept their choice. So D. Snyder's taking the high road after completely obliterating Trump the whole time. I don't want to go to X. All right. I didn't want to do that. What? How come? Okay, no. Oh, my God. God, Elon, get your site together, all right, please? Jesus. Bad Wolves' Doc Coyle had predicted a Trump victory in the days leading up to the election and sadly offered, "I'm kind of sick of saying I told you so." In one tweet, he noted, of the political talking points that didn't quite pan out, those 20 million migrants that Kamala flew to the swing states really did not show up at the polls. Ain't nothing like an incompetent conspiracy, he stated. Then adding, the voting the voting illegally part is kind of the point of my post. Not that migrants exist across the U.S. Exactly. As for why Kamala Harris didn't win, he stated she was unknown to much of the electorate, so his ability to paint her how he wanted has a bigger upside. Also, Trump is kind of immune to standards. That's true, and that's why I asked the question. He is immune to standards thus far. You guys are holding him to no standards. The MAGA people do not hold him to standards. The legacy media doesn't hold him to standards. Nobody has held him to standards. So I can only hope that during this presidency, they will get on him the way they got on old Joe Biden. Because let me tell you, Trump is as much the gaffe machine as Joe Biden is right now. So he can kind of do anything and it doesn't hurt him politically, and his opponents can't. Trolls win when you take the bait. It's true. It's totally true. Zach Myers. Who's Zach Myers? Of Shinedown, sorry. Found some humor in what was happening. He took a shot at Cardi B's political backing, stating, "So you're telling me the woman who has one of 7 writers on Wet Ass Pussy didn't sway this election? Get the fuck out of here." Okay, well, so he then added, "I've never watched it before, but just out of curiosity, what time does The View come on?" And then he said, "In all seriousness, people vote for whatever they think their lives need. We are what's important. How we choose to treat each other is what is important. Thinking Kamala or Trump give a fuck about you. is not only idiotic, it's utterly delusional. Love leads always. And then he also said you should be more mad that these two Fruit Loops were your choices. And honestly, I'm gonna end this here with the political stuff. I think 30-minute rant about this was enough. I agree. I agree. Ultimately, I don't agree with the idea. So I keep seeing this back and forth. I keep seeing that. Why would you lose the meme that came up over the past few weeks, and it came up in the past too, but it's really been prevalent over the past few weeks, is why would you lose friends and family over people who don't give a shit about you? That is true, if that was the case. But see, here's the thing. We're not talking about the Yankees and the Dodgers anymore, okay? We're not talking about the Chiefs and the 49ers. We're not talking about crosstown rivals like the Yankees and the Mets, or the Phillies and the Pirates cross-state, or like hockey rivalries like the Oilers and the Flames, or like they hate each other. Oh, like I would never lose a friend or a family member or someone I loved because they were a Yankee fan and I was a Mets fan. I would never do that. That would be ridiculous. But this is different, people. Like, this is way different. This red-blue thing means so much more than just, yay, my guy won. No, it's ideology. It's ways of life. It's people. We're talking about people. My own daughter got on me today because I tried to put a sunshine on what this was about by pointing out what I pointed out earlier. Well, we live in a state with a progressive governor, and you know, if abortion was ever on the ballot in Pennsylvania, I'm almost positive it would pass. They wouldn't ban abortion in this state. I mean, even though we just lost the presidential, I'm relatively sure that at the end of the day, we would vote yes on abortion rights, at least on choice. So if it ever became a ballot measure, but if it becomes a national ban, there's nothing you can do. But I said this to this was my putting a sunny face on it thing. And she told me that was the stupidest thing I could say to her this morning. And she's right. She was absolutely right. You can't tell a woman that today. You can't. There's no way. There's no way I could say. So I was wrong to say that. I was completely wrong to say that. So we're talking about people. We're talking about people. We're talking about immigrants. And no, we're not talking about just illegal immigrants. Like, how do you think they're going to find out who's legal and who's illegal? They're going to go after every brown person they see. So we're talking about people. We're not talking about jersey colors or stadiums or how many runs were scored in the fifth or who has the better pitcher or that team's attitude sucks. Like, we're not talking about any of that. We're talking about people and the way that they're able to live. Imagine yourself as a brown person today, as a person of color, of any race. Think of yourself as a woman today. And I know it's interesting because I know a lot of people of color voted for Trump. And I know a lot of women voted for Trump. So if you're watching this or listening to this, please throw it in the comments. Throw it in the chat. Why? What did you see? Do you think it's just jokes and hyperbole? Do you think his rhetoric is simply just that and it's not something he means? And if that's the case, if you think he's just talking just to talk and be entertaining, why in the world would you put faith in someone who doesn't tell the truth to you ever? To me, these are the most logical things. This was so easy. This was the most cut and dry election I think I've ever seen. But as I think it was, who was it in this article now? Was it Zach? What's his name from Shinedown? I forget. I think it was Zach Myers. Well, that's interesting. I just scrolled down and saw something different. So Public Enemy and Prophets of Rage, Chuck D, who is a very prominent black man, with a voice and a protest hero in this country. He says, "Don't let a win go to your head or a loss get to your heart." And AL, he got game fucking again. The New York City Hustler gamed them again. "Well, it's time for myself to work head forward as a second-class citizen. Good luck. I'll be watching it all with a pen and pad, USA." So, yeah, I mean, that's basically what I would imagine a lot of black people are feeling today. So, anyway, the last thing I want to say before going is I apologize. As a white man, I'm going to be okay. I mean, the only thing I did wrong here in terms of the list of grievances that Herr Trump might have is the fact that I oppose him and his ideology. But, like, I'm not trans. I'm not a person of color. I'm not an illegal immigrant. And my people have not been immigrants since the inception of this country, essentially. And I'm a white man. So I'm good. I'm not happy. I'm very concerned for my daughters and my children and what the environment's going to look like and whether or not my daughters can get their rights back and whether or not my black and Latino and Muslim and gay and trans friends, what's going to happen to all of them? So I'm very deeply concerned about all of them. But me personally, it's not about me. I'm going to be fine. I'm going to be absolutely fine. The only thing I did was I voted the wrong direction. Now, if he starts gelling people for voting the wrong direction, I might be in trouble or saying something online, which I've said through social media and now right here for the first time on my channel. So let me know in the chat or let me know in a comment when I decide to cut this up and edit it and release it as a VOD or whatever. If you're watching this after the fact, leave it in the comments. Let me know what you think. And I'm open to it. I'm honestly open to whatever your opinions are, okay? In the meantime, I'm going to take a short little break here so I can get myself together onto the next thing. And we'll be right back.